item C2. Do we have a motion on item C2?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion on item C2. I want to acknowledge we had an enormous amount of testimony today, and very moving, very well stated, very eloquent testimony. And I understand the concerns and the passions of the people that testified. I think a lot of the people who are at have been on the mountain, who've been standing by the side of the road, who've been at the encampment, are wonderful people, very good people. I'm very concerned, though, that I hear a number of people testify that they are prepared to place boulders in the road again. I heard a number of people testify that they're prepared to block the road again. And as we've said here before, we actually did take an oath to uphold the laws. We have our enforcement people who are also, their job is to uphold the laws. And at this point, the law does say that if the telescope construction people come through, that they have a right to come through. The only people who can change that right now is the only people are a court, and we are required to uphold that. So our people need the tools to keep order on the mountain, and for that reason, I'm going to move to approve C2 as it was presented today. I know that the board members, I think all the board members have comments, and I'm not going to make any kind of big speeches. I think this is a very, I could make a long speech, but it's a very sad that this has come to this point, and that there is this conflict between, I think, people who are deeply good on both sides and who have different visions, but live in the same, but have to live in the same world and on the same island. I'm also going to find that based on what we've been presented, that there is an imminent peril to public health, safety, and natural resources that justifies the granting of this emergency rule. And the final comment I'd like to make is that there have been requests and there have been statements that for cultural reasons, people may want to go up and stay on the mountain for times outside of the hours, and that this will be possible. There is a provision in the rules for special permits that can be granted by the chair that would deviate from the normal requirements of the rules, including this emergency rule. So this is still a conversation and a dialogue that we can continue to have.
I second the motion, Madam Chair.
Discussion?
Madam Chair.
Please.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Just so, I mean, it's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Member Ewan, that the motion included a request that the board find that an imminent peril to the public health or natural resources necessitated the emergency nature of the rule.
That's part of the motion, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And just to clarify, the rest of the rule provides procedures for permits, and we'd have to refer back to what they are, but
that's in the game management rules, which are being amended here. So there is a clause for special permits in the game management rules.
please, Mr. Rory.
This is very painful for me. It's probably painful for all of us, but for me it's very painful. But when Governor Abercrombie asked me to serve on the land board, he called me up and asked me to serve. And I said, "You want me on the land board?" He said, "I want you on the land board." And I said, why do you want me on the land board? And only thing he told me was, take the rock out of my shoe. And I didn't quite understand what he meant, but he didn't want to talk about it any more than that. But then other people said, well, we need some new blood in the board and new ideas, and that's why we're telling you you got to go. And so I decided, okay, I made a decision to talk to my wife, and now I'm here, and I took the oath. All right, and I'm going to do my job correct, even though I got strong feelings for my Hawaiian clients and my Hawaiian neighbors and my Hawaiian family, including my grandson who comes to our house every day. So I'm seconding the motion, and I'm going to be in favor of this. And here are some of the things that I want to have happen. And I want there to be good faith efforts made to work on these things if they can't be done overnight, because I feel that they are part and parcel of why I'm voting for this. Okay, and it goes like this. Number one, not in any particular order, the Kahuku Mauna Advisory Committee has got to have a robust future. It's there for a reason. It's there for the Hawaiians to know that we care about their pass rights on the mountain. So they have to have a voice in what happened. And it's not whether they have a voice, there has to be an appearance at least that they're being listened to. When they come over here to a meeting like this, and then they tell us that they feel frustrated, the whole reason for us setting that up in 1998 was so that they would have a voice, permanent voice, and so that they would have their pass rights voice. And this Kahuku Mauna Advisory Board was set up for that purpose. They're supposed to be the eyes and ears for the Hawaiians, and they have to be a robust group. So that's got to be worked on. Okay, that's the first thing. Number two, there's got to be a proper disposition, and if it's too late for that, on anybody on a stand-up board or surfing or windsurfing or having swim meets, races in Waiau Lake, that's forbidden. And we expect the dole care officers to strictly restrict what goes down in Waiau Lake. That's a sacred place, and if there's going to be Hawaiian type ceremonies using the lake water, that's okay. But it's not for general recreational use by passersby. That's a restricted area, and it has to be respected. Very, very sacred place. Next item. This water going down the mountain, we want that investigated and find out where's that water going to. And if it's draining areas that are sacred, we got to find out whether or not that's a good idea. And we want to have a report brought to us about that, because we're bothered by that. Especially when we saw those photos of one place all nice and green, everything was nice and malia, and the next one just got, bushes all mucky already. So we want to work on that. Next item. We encourage peaceful protest. Protest as much as you like, but not on the road, and no block nobody. And there is going to be some discussion, and the chairwoman is going to take this up. You want to have permits to have a certain protest site on top of the mountain somewhere where you can have a 24-hour facility, but it's not blocking the road. The chairman is open-minded to considering that, and so are we. But we have to let the Western culture and the Hawaiian culture coexist, because we have to uphold the law. All right, the next item, and this is another painful area. I'm very fearful that no matter which way we go, somebody's going to spend money, a lot of money, and no matter which way we go, we might have lawsuits against us, against the state, whatever. It doesn't look like we can prevent that. But we have to be mindful of the fact that tomorrow, the 30-meter limited liability partnership or some other entity can file a claim in federal district court in Hawaii, in San Francisco, in some other state where they're domiciled. And then the issue of whether past rights are going to face the same fate with Rice versus Cayetano, we're going to have to face that. That would be a very sad day for me, because I think the past rights are what gave my clients hope all these years. And that could go the same way as Rice versus Cayetano, because there's an element in past rights that favors the host culture. And you look at the Rice versus Cayetano, very unfortunate words in the case, but it says that any kind of benefit to one nationality by reason of ancestry is constitutionally suspect. That's what it said. Very unfortunate. But that's what we're faced with. That's the reality of it. That's why I'm fearful this isn't going to end in the state Supreme Court. This is going to end in the U.S. Supreme Court. So you got to be careful what you wish for. You might win the battle and you might lose the war. And the war is going to be with Justice Scalia and his boys. All you have to do is read the newspaper, see how they vote. Do they vote? Are they going to vote for our local culture? I don't think so. They don't seem to act like it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my fear. I have a hopo about that. So the last item is, I want to encourage the university. I want the president to hear this, chairman of the Board of Regents. I want them to back up Don Straney, because he hired 2 Hawaiian educators, one for East Hawaii, one for West Hawaii, to start the process of getting the at-risk kids in the Hawaiian pocket communities and other disadvantaged kids from other pocket communities in the Big Island, get them ready for college to go UH Hilo. Tuition waivers, early admittance, opportunities to get ready to go to college, and give them after-school trainings where they're having problems. Give them mentors right into the after-school programs. And that's what he started to do. And hopefully that idea will spread across the state. And we'll get everybody in this picture to help pay for that. Because mitigation measures are part of the deal in the CDUP. And it's part of the appeal in the CDUP. And all the new leases are coming up. If they want to get extensions of the leases, you know, or they want to do upgrades, you know where they got to come? Right here. So this isn't the end of the day. This is just the first day. We're just getting started. And you can see from the comments in here, we got an action board. No sissies in here. All different shapes and sizes, and all of them are eleu. Every one of them. All different point of view. And we don't always agree, but we work hard and we try to get along with each other, even though we have strong disagreement. And we need the public's help for us to do a good job, because this job is not easy and we're facing tough times coming up. So we need to pull together as a community. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Other discussion?
Kaloa Mamalahoe was quoted several times today, and it was in several testimonies that we received, and that goes both ways. The safe and respectful use of the road is important to everybody. And I'm disappointed that that hasn't been upheld. I'm disappointed in the words of violence that have been used, maybe not in this room today, but definitely on both sides of the conversation. I feel for our daycare officers, and I appreciate your testimony and what you stand for. Of all the tools that we have, I don't know that we're using the right tool right now. And I don't know that we've given you the right tools and all the tools and resources that you could use as well. It's conflicting. I hear you guys talk and I feel the same way you do. Having said that, we just had the emergency rules for the Loli last meeting. When it came to impacts to natural resources, we received a certain amount of information on species. I didn't receive that about the natural resources at this point in time. In other issues before us, when there's been violations, we've received reports about those violations and investigations into those violations. I recognize the challenges of the existing rules on the books and how maybe that challenge serving violations, but I still think that's part of the process, and that was a tool that we had as well that we could have used. We have Kahuku Mauna, we have Ahamoku Council, we have the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, many people who have offered help in the past and that are resources to Office of Mauna Kea Management, the university, and to the board, and that's a tool that I don't feel that we used beforehand. I don't know that I feel that I've heard a genuine understanding from all sides of what it means to have cultural practice at Mauna Kea. I hear the cultural practice and the camping sort of woven together along with our First Amendment rights. And I don't know that I have heard clearly how we've tried to understand each of those conversations and to move forward with resolutions on each of them as is appropriate for them. I feel that we're lumping them together. And I recognize that, like my fellow board members, that the situation has come to a head at this point in time, requiring these types of rules to come before us because other tools and other efforts weren't necessarily used ahead of time. So for those of us that have to go forward, continue to serve our land, continue to serve our people, I think we do need to pause every now and then and think of the tools that we have on hand. You don't bring your o'o when you have to do a ko'i type of job. You don't take your o'o if what you really want to do is hoi. And I don't know that these rules really are the right tool at the right time for this particular situation. I think we've brought the wrong tool to a very, very challenging situation. And I share the fear with my board members of the violence that we hear about, which is very different from having perseverance. I'm concerned about the public safety issues that have already occurred and the potential for more public safety issues. And I hope that we can all abide by Kanawai Mamalahoe and find a way to have peaceful and respectful conversations and recognizing how we can come to some sort of aloha in this situation. Mahalo.
Other comments? Discussion?
I have one more.
And
After everybody else, then I missed a couple items.
Go ahead.
Okay, I missed talking about our DoCare acting boss. I'm very impressed by your comment. You really spoke from the heart. You're the man on the spot. You were there, and we got to back you up. And we got to have your men they have to have good feeling in their heart that they're doing the right thing. So we got to be there for you guys. And I recognize that today. And I think that's really important. So you tell your boys, have a good feeling, because we're going to back you up. We're going to watch your back. The other thing is, we want the university to look into having if I didn't already say this, having your rangers have police powers. Talk to the president, chairman of the board of regents. See how do we accomplish that? Do we need to go through legislation? I'm not sure whether you guys have to make rules or the Board of Regents got to make rules. I'm not sure how that's to be done, or whether that's under present rules now that need to be looked at with fresh eyes. I'm not sure, but for the same reasons that we have opportunities for a clear and present danger, is the words I would use, for prior intervention before things happen under constitutional law, we have that same reason that the rangers need to have police powers, because emergencies are going to arise when we least expect it on the mountain. There's more people, there's more traffic, there's more tension, and there's more people, just tourists going up there running around in their bikinis and whatever, and they look like, I don't know whether what they're doing, but just a lot of pressure up there, and emergencies are going to occur, disputes are going to arise on top of the mountain, and you guys might be the only ones that are there. You can't call Hilo Patrol to come and help you. You got to do it right there. So it's not to make you guys into a militia, something inappropriate, but it's to give you adequate tools in the event you have an emergency, so you can do what is necessary to keep the peace and have the law of the land obeyed. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming and all of your comments, and I'm going to remember this day for a long time.
Kukiai Mauna! Kukiai
Any
Mauna!
other comments?
I'll see you on the mountain.
Any other comments? Discussion? If not, the motion is to approve the rule as submitted today.
There's no assurance
and
for
there's
the
a second.
Hawaiians. There's been a lot of assurances
second.
just now.
I second the motion.
You did. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ole.
Motion's passed. Meeting's adjourned.